Alright, well guys, I got a special treat for us tonight. We're not cooking on my boat. We're over at my neighbor, Peter, and we have sous chef Helena with us, and we're going to special cook a dish called
fish dish.
Peter, what are we going to need?
Well, it's a fish dish, so obviously we'll need some fish. What I have here today is a cod fillet. You can make this with flounder. I tried salmon, but that doesn't work so good. You can do it with salmon, but it's a fatty fish, so it doesn't work too well. A white flaky fish, cod in my opinion, is perfect. Then we have some tomato, which I always use, some canned as well as some fresh. I do not want to use only canned stuff. Olives are optional. The lifeline of a boater's cooking is bouillon. Always have this, makes everything better. You need onion, you need some garlic. The shallots are optional. Broccoli, just simply because my kid that's one of the vegetables they eat. And you need spices, just some pepper, some salt. The Italian seasoning I use, but that's optional. And I like dill on the fish, but that's again a personal preference. You may or may not use that. Same thing for soy sauce. I like the flavor. And I usually cook only with olive oil. Helena has selected spaghetti today.
Alright, so now the next thing we're going to do is get our pasta cooking, or are we going to do our dicing and slicing?
First I'm going to prepare all the vegetables and make the sauce, because the fish needs to go in there to just simply simmer through a little bit. They do not really, the fish doesn't really cook. So I'm going to prepare the sauce first with the vegetables.
Now Peter, the tomatoes, you'd mentioned you do something special with the tomatoes. What do you do with those?
Well, the tomatoes will go into boiling water to take the skin off, because my kids will not eat the skin. So I will just throw them into the boiling water before I cook the pasta, which makes it very easy to take the skin off. And right now I just simply cleaned all the vegetables, and obviously right now I'm washing them. And the way I cut this up again is so it's kind of easy to find it or get away from it. And since we have spaghetti, I'm going to make it long. So it's sort of a shape that kind of goes with the rest.
Hi kids, it's me, Miss.
So the onions are caramelizing, which is just the flavor that I like. If you want to just sweat them, that's fine. I usually caramelize them. Next thing we'll do now is to throw in the cut up broccoli stems. And then I'm going to smash the garlic. Personally, I prefer this over using garlic presses. They're difficult to clean, they're a pain in the butt, they always break.
Peter, I'm happy you said that, because this is what I'm telling everybody who watches my videos. This is the right way to do garlic. Thank you.
So what I did now was to cut up some of the olives, put those in. I also did put some tomato sauce in there, and I just let that go along with the crushed up garlic for a little bit longer to reduce the sauce, to increase the flavor.
Now what are we going to add to that next, Peter?
Well, I mean, now it's really not an order to things, but I will probably put in the bouillon next, and then some soy sauce for the flavor, and that is basically the base of the sauce. The sauce is pretty much done by now.
But now what are we going to do with this other broccoli and tomatoes that we have?
That we will now blanch in our pot for the spaghetti. So that will come into the spaghetti pot once the water is boiling. We'll blanch the broccoli and the tomato, take the skins off, and then that goes into the sauce as well.
Alright, now so Peter, you've got your tomatoes in here, you've already blanched the other vegetables. What are we doing now?
Well, I did blanch and skin the fresh tomatoes, and I put those in now. So this is done. And also blanched and cut up are the broccoli, and those go in. And now we stir this all around a little bit, and that's all we do. The next and final step will be the fish on top, which we will season the fish first and then just put it on top of here and kind of let it steam under the lid. The cod will actually cook fairly quickly. It will take probably not more than 10 minutes for the cod to be done.
Go ahead.
That. Okay, Mäuschen, can you stir very carefully, okay? Just a little. So now we're approaching the final stage. I did season the fish, pepper, salt, and dill. Now, some people say let this fish speak for itself, in which case you want to take the dill off because that adds a fairly distinct flavor to it. I happen to love it. And you just simply put the fish, nestle it on top, and you put a lid on it, literally. And now this is going to sit there for another 10 minutes or so. Ever so often you want to check, not too often, because if you do then you lose all the heat. You want to leave it alone, but ever so often check. And do not overcook this fish. Now we're pretty much at the end of it all, and this is a critical stage, and I think it's a very important one. Pasta is basically cooked, so I'm going to shut this one off. But I'm not going to drain the water because there's a lot of starch in this. And I learned this from a cooking show on TV. You should really use some of your pasta water to use as almost a thickening agent. I'm just going to transfer some of the spaghetti water onto the fish. And you see it's basically cooked. I don't know if you can see this. But this fish is done, and I'm basically going to fill the pan up to how much it ever will bear. You want a lot, Mäuschen, or a little?
A lot.
My little sous chef here will not eat any fish. She loves the fish dish, but she will not eat fish. And she only wants sauce. She will only want sauce, but without any bits and pieces. So you can ignore that in a way, because I'm sure you don't have that problem. But so what I'm doing now is getting to the sauce, to the prized sauce.
Peter, that looks wonderful. You know, guys, I wish you could smell this. This is fantastic. Look at this dish. Look
So
at this.
now I just put the sauce and the vegetables over the fish.
Well, guys, Peter, sous chef, Helena, thank you. Shall we
Cheers.
toast?
We recommend a good wine and some chocolate milk. Milk, I'm sorry, we speak German.
Bon appetit, or
Guten Appetit.
Guten Appetit.
Yay!
Yay, guys.